I first saw it when I was 5, peeking out of the doorless closet next to my bedroom door, staring with wide and crystalline eyes at me from a shadowy corner that had been empty before my mother flipped off the lights. It was tall and thin, and mostly featureless in the darkness, though it jerked and shivered and wheezed as it watched me beneath a skyscape of plastic glow-in-the-dark stars. The sounds it made were impossible for a human, wet and grumbling noises that sounded like a dog struggling to breathe after being hit by a car, so disgusting and visceral that I wanted to puke. I stared back to move or reach for my bedside light, blanket held under my nose as I struggled not to doze or blink. I went to school the next day, bleary-eyed and whimpering, much to the dismay of the typically understanding Mrs. Early. I can vividly remember her clinging to my arm as she tried to get me to trace out a lowercase a with a dull green crayon that was far too waxy, mumbling to herself that she would have to have a chat with my mother over my sleep habits. The next night was no different. The light switched off, it miraculously appeared in the shadows, and it glared, unblinking at me the whole night. Its eyes like ice, reflecting the light of a nightlight I had begged my mum to move from the bathroom, a pale blue that bordered on white and glimmered like polished diamond. That night I could make out its frame, too tall for the closet, too thin to be healthy, with limbs that were as long and gangly as my sock monkeys, as it leaned out precariously in the middle of our standoff, heaving and wheezing and gagging and rasping. This continued for a while, my nursery teacher and my poor mother constantly at odds about how I kept dragging into the classroom, too tired for even snack time. CPS was threatened at one point. My mum nearly ripped out her hair trying to understand why I was so terrified, and I spent a week sleeping in her bed where the monster couldn't get me,